Hey friends, welcome to my channel. It's a pleasure to have you here again. So today we're going to be looking at something very crucial, something that has to do with the end times, because we are in a season and a time that everyone have to be sober and be watchful, because we are wrapping up, or the age is wrapping up. God is finishing his work on the earth, and things are happening so fast. In fact, from the year 2020, things happened so fast. A lot of prophecies of scriptures that have been fulfilled, and things have been aligned and put in order to bring about the end of the age. So today, I want to bring up something from the scriptures, from the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation is a very awesome part of the scriptures. So many people are, they are scared about it. For others, they feel that it's too vague and they don't want to go there. But you see, within the book of Revelation lies the future, lies the answer to all the pains and problems of man. So without wasting so much time, I want us to delve into Revelation chapter 12. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go through the entire chapter, and I'm going to show you the mind of God, of the things that are about to happen. All right, as concerning the church, as concerning the entire earth. They are documented here. So let us begin this journey. So, all right, so I'm going to read through, take it verse by verse, and I'm going to make some comments on this matter that we're about. So, Revelation chapter 11, verse 1, it reads, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." All right, so take note of the words he used. It said, a woman clothed with sun and the moon under her feet. All right, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. What does this mean? It simply means this woman represents or is symbolic of God's people throughout the ages, throughout time. Because it says here, she's clothed with the sun. The sun rises in the morning. It speaks of the beginning, right? And under her feet was the moon. It speaks of the night, which means from day to night, from start to finish, right? And this woman is symbolic of God's people from the beginning of the ages towards the end of the ages. And there it just gives us another glimpse of something that's very important, saying, upon her head a crown of 12 stars, which is symbolic of Israel. Israel is God's people. Now, this occasion speaks of the woman as the mother of the church. It speaks of Israel and the fathers who birthed the nation Israel, right? And Israel itself birthing the church, right? Birthing the church, but to be specific, in Revelation 12, it's not the entirety of the church it speaks about. It speaks of the church of the latter end, upon which, of which rather, we are the church. But it just gives us a symbol of God's people from the beginning of the ages, Israel as the mother, giving birth to the church, and specifically the church of the last end. All right. And let us look at the next verse. It says, "And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain, to be delivered." Do you know what this means? It's simply symbolic of, because she's traveling. travailing. She's with a child. She wanted to give birth. She wants to deliver a child. At this point, this speaks of the revival that's going to take place very soon on the earth. The revival that prophets and men of God of old have spoken about, that is going to be upon the earth. The revival we've been expecting, Wills talked about it. So many of God's generals, they saw by the Spirit of God, they spoke of these times. Kenneth again spoke about it. That there's going to be a mighty revival that's going to take place. And she being with child, all right, and this verse 2 speaks of that revival, the traveling, the preparation to give birth to the church that will be raptured, all right. And so that's what it's symbolic of. Verse 3, and it says, there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. All right, so it speaks of Satan. This speaks of Satan. It's so clear. All right, and this 7 heads and 10 horns is also used to describe the Antichrist. All right, the man. It's not his system. The Antichrist is not his system. It's a man. All right, because Satan gives him authority. He then looks like Satan. In verse 4, it talks about this dragon. This is a satanic activity. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. When we speak of tail, drawing, and when we speak of tail speaks of deception. So by deception, he was able to win some of God's angels, right? He was able to deceive them, deceive leaders, spiritual leaders. And the dragon stood before the woman. This is symbolic of attack. So this is what's going to happen on the earth. By the time the revival begins, there's going to be a massive conversion of men and women turning to the Lord. People who have left the Lord will come to the Lord. People who don't know the Lord will come to the Lord. Muslims, massive amount of Muslims will turn to the Lord. And so this will give Satan great pain. This will give Satan and the camp of the enemy great pain, because they are not able to stop this work of God. They're not able to stop this revival. So they will be so pained. And so when he says Satan stood before the woman, this is a symbol of he was standing because he wanted to pounce on her. He wants to attack. But he's not able to attack because this last revival, the people that will partake in this revival, the souls that will be won, are going to wear out Satan. He's not going to be able to understand it. All right, because it's going to come mightily. The Spirit of God is going to move mightily upon the earth. And Satan, you see, I will build my church. And the gate of hell will not prevail against it. Because of the massive amount of the power of God that will be made available. And because God he wanted to do a quick work on the earth to save as many as he can save at that point in time. So Satan will be so annoyed and angry, all right, at this. And much more because lots of Muslims and people of other religions, even in nations like North Korea and nations all over the earth, all over those places where it seems the gospel is hid, China and all those nations of the earth, all right, there will be so much anger in the camp of the enemy, because a lot of these people will be converted. A lot of Muslims will be converted. All right, and there will be a plan to, Satan will want to attack. All right, and look at verse 5. See what it says. And she brought forth a man-child. She brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Now, this man-child is not Jesus Christ, as some people explain it to be. It is not. All right, the man-child was to rule the nations. So when you say was to rule, meaning that the child is the one to rule. Now, there is a portion of Revelation chapter 2 where Jesus made a promise to the church. This is not, which indicates that this is not Jesus Christ, but this is a church. The man-child is a church, the overcoming church of the last times. the church that experienced the revival just before the rapture. Jesus, spoke of this promise in Revelation chapter 2. I'm going to read it out for you. Revelation chapter 2, verse 26 and 27, it says, "And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations." Can you see that? Power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Can you see that? He shall rule them with a rod of iron. It says here also, Revelation chapter 12, verse 5, it says, "Who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron?" So it was speaking to the overcoming church. All right, and it says that we're going to rule with a rod of iron. And yeah, it says the man-child is going to rule with a rod of iron. This is the same identity. So he's speaking of the church. He's not speaking about Jesus Christ himself, but the overcoming church of the last times. We are. It is our generation. We are the ones. Don't say it's going to be 50 years or some people in a later time. Jesus is coming soon. All right, we are the last of the last generations. All right, and I'm so excited because I am so happy because he's coming back again. It's coming back again. For those of us who really long for him, who really long to see his work, long to see the Lamb receive the reward of his suffering, it's our joy. It's our joy to know that the Master is returning back soon.